Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. In this part of the episode, we're going to be diving into Gabriel Jesus. We have been talking about his return to training. Now we know when he will be back playing for Arsenal and back into the squad, according to Kaya Kainak from Football.London. We'll be talking about United putting in a rest for Declan Rice against Arsenal. We'll be talking Lautaro Martinez and Victor Osimhen, as well as potential interests from Arsenal in the summer. So I'm going to be diving into much of that. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. Let's get this video to 500 likes. And in the comment box below, I want you to let me know how important is Gabriel Jesus coming back for Arsenal in April and May. Now, if you look, we're going to be discussing the fixture list in April and May in this video, and you will understand what I'm talking about here. That is where that's where some of the biggest games Arsenal will have to win to win the Premier League title are, and we are having our man back, our most important player, in my opinion, our most important forward, our most, I think he's the glue that holds together this Arsenal side, especially going up front. It means more chances, it means more goals, it means more threat up top, and it means more unpredictability for Arsenal. Hit the like button. Let's get into the comment box below. Do you think Gabriel Jesus coming back just wins the title for Arsenal? Do you think him coming back just gives us an edge against Newcastle, against Man City, against all these clubs, Liverpool, that we're going to play in the coming month in April? I want your thoughts. I want your opinions about that on this part of the podcast. Right, let's get right into it. The story has been written by a very, big journalist, in my opinion. Kaya Kainak right now is one of the journalists that have actually earned the right to be called big. And it says, Kaya Kainak of Football.London reports Arsenal are hopeful that striker Gabriel Jesus will be back in the squad before the international break in March. Jesus has been out on the sidelines since December with a knee injury that forced him out of the World Cup in 2022 in Qatar. The 24-year-old required surgery of the injury and has since been making positive steps in his recovery. The international break is March 20th to March 28th. That is what we understand at the moment, as reported by Kaya Kainak and picked up by the Arsenal Buzz and a couple of stories, and we're reacting to it here right on Cossy's Arsenal podcast. Right, so this is the story. He is back before March the 20th. Our last game as we enter March, our last game as we go into the international break will be on the 19th of March, and it will be at home at the Emirates Stadium against Crystal Palace. Right, listen. This is massive. I cannot get the right words to explain how important Gabriel Jesus returning for Arsenal slightly or just before the international break is. This is so big. This is very, very important for Arsenal. And I know Mikel Arteta right now, he won't rush him. He won't play him in any of the games in March, according to my understanding. And one thing we have to do and one thing we have to avoid is letting him go for Brazil or playing for Brazil right after his injury. Because what I've seen with countries and international football teams, they don't care. As long as they win their friendlies, as long as they win the World Cup, as long as they win the Euros or the Copa Libertadores, I don't even know how you call those trophies, they do not care about players' health. They do not care about how a player has been doing. As long as he can play, they will play him. As long as he's fit, they will actually call him up. And for me, it's a pure disgrace that he picked up an injury for Brazil in a tournament where he was even disrespected, in a tournament where he was not treated as a priority. He was in absolute form. He was one of the best Brazilian strikers right now, before we went for the World Cup. He was one of the best Brazilian strikers, and he was not even given an opportunity to prove himself to start every game. And when he was given that, picks up a long-term injury, derails his campaign, derails his progress, and it derails Arsenal as well. So, look, I'm very, very happy. I'm absolutely happy because this is the time when we needed Partey and Gabriel Jesus to return. The round of fixtures we have in March is not that scary. I think we can actually go through it without Gabriel Jesus. Everton at home, Bournemouth at home, City away, Fulham away, City at home, Crystal Palace at home. Those are 6 fixtures that Arsenal has to go through in March without Gabriel Jesus. I don't see a game here that Arsenal justifiably cannot win because we don't have Gabriel Jesus. All these games, Everton at home, you can win that. Bournemouth at home, you should win that. City away, maybe a draw. Fulham at away, you win that. City at home, you win that. Crystal Palace away at home, actually, you win that as well. So this is what I think Arsenal should do, and this is what I think we will do. We will wait until the first game. I think we will wait until the first game of April, and that is going to be Leeds United. I think Leeds United at home as well, okay? So it's going to be Leeds United. That's the first game we play in April after the international break, and that will be the introduction of Gabriel Jesus back into the squad. If we introduce him earlier, for example, in the maybe CP game or Crystal Palace game, it means Brazil can call him up. Or we have to tell Brazil right now, he's not ready. That's the information we've got to give them. He is not ready, okay? But answering the question, how important is Gabi J when it comes to Arsenal and April? The round of games we have in April is crazy. We have Leeds United at home, Liverpool at the Anfield, Newcastle away, City away, and I think Chelsea at home. Those around 4 fixtures that could take the title away. Even if we go into April with a 100% record, or from March, or 5 points clear or 7 points clear, you could lose your lead in April. And that's why I think Gabriel Jesus is coming back at a perfect time. He's coming back at a time when we need him. He's coming back at a time when Arsenal need him the most. For me, there is no better time. There is no better time for him to come back, to play against City, to play against Liverpool, to play against Chelsea, to give us that extra bit of quality. I don't know by the time if Chelsea will be a better side. I don't know if by that time City will be on a run of 10 games unbeaten, or 5 games unbeaten, something like that. I'm not really sure. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to put pieces together, game per game, day by day, so that the last 15 games or the last 15 match days are actually leading to the title. So for me, that is a massive boost. Don't play him in March. I don't see any importance of hiring him and rushing him. The games Gabriel Jesus has to play are coming up in April and May. Remember our last 2 fixtures? They're absolutely very, very difficult. Our last fixture is Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Emirates. That is going to be a cracker, right? Nerves, pressure, and everything. If we get to that game, 3 points ahead of City, right? 3 points ahead of City, who play Brentford away, you never know what could happen, right? You never know what could happen. So in my opinion, Gabriel Jesus coming back is the right time. It's the right time. These 6 games have nothing to do with Gabi J. These 6 games have nothing to do with him. He just has to focus on April and May. And for me, guys, I'm going to be deluded. He wins us the title. He wins us the title. Him coming back at this point in time, I think it's a title decider. Just imagine if Man City didn't have Haaland and he came back for the last 2 months. Everybody would be saying the same. Everybody would be saying, okay, it's over for us now. The robot is back. The guy who scores a lot of goals is back. And for us, the guy who's the glue to our attack, the guy who works the hardest in our midfield and attack, the guy who creates the difference and creates that kind of fright in enemies, causes fear in enemies and opponents, is back. I think this Arsenal side could be going on a run of unstoppable games, in my opinion. But of course, we'll be letting you know when he comes back. Of course, when Mikel Arteta decides to integrate him again in the squad. Now, let's dive into some of the transfers that I have to talk about on the podcast. Now, United are willing to put up a fight for Declan Rice this summer. Arsenal will not have a free ride. Man United will be trying to sign the Deckers as well. Now, I'm not really surprised at this. I look at all the other clubs that could be trying to sign Decas, including Liverpool, who, in my opinion, should be trying so much to get his signature, because if you play him and Jude Bellingham in the same team, you have a mixture, you have a recipe for disaster, to be honest. Chelsea, would they be trying to sign him? I'm not really sure about that. They do have Enzo Fernandez in that midfield. They have N'Golo Conte, who's trying to sign a new contract. They've lost Jorginho. So I won't be surprised if Chelsea throw themselves into the mix to try to get Declan Rice. World class is going to be available on a bargain. But Arsenal should not allow this happen. Don't allow him to go to Man United. The next 2-3 years are going to be Arsenal's strongest years, right? In the next 3 years, we must have a Premier League title. We must have at least a European semi-final as an achievement. We must have it. And the only club that I look at right now, and I'm like, they should stop us, is Man City. But the other club is going to really, really stop Arsenal from achieving huge success in the next half a decade is Manchester United. Whoever looks at Man United and go, they are not that good, they've just won the Carabao Cup. That is because you're myopic. That is because you do not see, at a broader level. You don't look at big things in a big picture. You look at things in a very myopic way. But if you look at Man United, Erik ten Hag, the signings he has made have been as successful as the signings Mikel Arteta has made. That should send a point. That actually sends a point out that these two gaffers have so much in common, right? I don't think Mikel Arteta signed so many players and he's got it horribly wrong. How about Erik ten Hag? Not one player has he signed and he's got it horribly wrong. Okay, so for me, the next team the next 5 years is going to be about City, Arsenal, Man United, because those are the 3 teams that I think are ready to do whatever it takes to go all the way. Chelsea with Todd Boehly, you never know what's going to happen, right? They might even have a financial fair play, breach, and because they're spending half a billion almost every transfer window. So don't let Rice go to Man United. This is where I would eat my words and go, pay 90 million. Don't let him go to Man United. Okay. Now, sources I've seen, some of the sources I've been looking at indicate that Rice would love to play in the UEFA Champions League. Both Man United and Arsenal will offer him that, but he would love to stay in London if given the opportunity. Now, that means Chelsea, Arsenal are leading the race as Man United try to track the situation. For me, get it done. I don't care how. Get it done. I love Moises Caicedo, but Declan Rice just makes our opponents world class, right? I think Man United won't sign Moises Caicedo. They won't. Decas makes our opponents world class, and that's why I need him in this Arsenal side, because he makes us maybe not world class already, but that recipe, Odegaard, Rice, and Partey, or Odegaard, Rice, and Vieira or Emile Smith-Rowe, that could be a road to 3 world-class midfielders. That could be Casemiro, Kroos, and Modric. Modric being Martin Odegaard. We don't have a Toni Kroos yet. Not yet. But Rice being the Casemiro. So in my opinion, if Man United are willing to go all the way, Arsenal should go all the way. This is a big deal. Like, this is a statement signing. If Man United, and United will make statement signings. Make sure you follow me on the 90 More podcast as we enter the transfer market, especially that international break of March, because much of the clubs will be making their intentions during that time. There won't be a lot of football, so it's going to be about who clubs are going to try to sign in the summer. So make sure you're following me by then. Right, the other story is around Lautaro Martinez. Arsenal still interested. A couple of other clubs tracking him as well. According to what I understand, Lautaro Martinez is wanted by Arsenal, Chelsea, and Manchester United. All those 3 clubs are interested in signing Lautaro Martinez. Now, I was over on Igal Talks Football yesterday. You can have some time and watch the podcast there, the episode, and we were talking about Lautaro Martinez, and a couple of people said he's not that good. For me, if Arsenal wants to add to their forward line, signings like Lautaro Martinez make the difference. Signing a player like Lautaro Martinez, who's done it on a big stage, who's been that good for a club like Inter Milan, it makes a huge difference. So for me, I'll take Lautaro Martinez all day, every day. I won't really expand on this because there is nothing in depth. It's just that Calcio Mercato have said Arsenal are still interested and are monitoring Lautaro Martinez. Top player, top guy, played at a top level in the UEFA Champions League consistently, performed consistently for Inter Milan. Why wouldn't I take a player like that? Now, the other player, of course, Arsenal and Man United are linked with is Victor Osimhen. Look, I see Osimhen work, to be honest. I see Osimhen work in the summer. I think Kavica Kvaratskhelia will not work, but I think Victor Osimhen will work. And I won't be very surprised if United make him work. Yeah. United may make him work. And maybe Chelsea. Chelsea do need this goal scorer, don't they? Look, the crazy part of this deal is the numbers involved. We're talking about 150 million. Mikel Arteta is not that stupid. He's got, he just needs a backup to Gabriel Jesus. He's never paying 150 million for Victor Osimhen. But he's another player that I would take this season. Jesus Christ. Have you heard of Victor Osimhen this season? 19 goals now in 20 appearances for Napoli. That is mad. That is absolutely bold from Victor Osimhen. And I tell you one thing, he's one of the strikers in Europe right now that any team would sign and he would work perfectly in their system. He runs, he can be a lone striker. I think he drops up, he drops into the midfield very well, runs off the shoulder very well. In my opinion, you sign him for Arsenal, he works for us. You sign him for Man United, he works for them. You sign him at Real Madrid, he works for them. I pray he goes to a club like Real Madrid, doesn't come in the Premier League, but you look at how much the Premier League clubs are spending. I don't think Victor Osimhen is going to go anywhere away from the Premier League. But I would like him at Arsenal. But to be honest, I like Gabi J. I like Gabriel Jesus. Okay, so that's it. That's it from me in this part of the podcast. Gabriel Jesus returns to return date has been revealed, and that should be around 20th of March before the international break. Man United will try to push for the signing of Declan Rice. Of course, Arsenal will be challenging as well. Lautaro Martinez and Victor Osimhen are the latest strikers to be linked with Arsenal. And yeah, I'll speak to you right in the next one. Hit the like button, subscribe as well. And why not have a very, very good time? You can subscribe to my podcast, the 90 More Podcast. It's over on YouTube. Of course, we'll be having the audio versions of this podcast on Spotify very, very soon. How about having yourself a blessed evening as I cook more? And I'll see you right in the next one.